It's been a while since I had a clip for you of just good old-fashioned religious nuttery that's indistinguishable from mental illness. And I've sort of been getting away from these sorts of clips unless they're linked to something in the news, because I think most of the audience at this point has a pretty good understanding and sense of this completely unhinged religious zealotry. But today we actually have an example of religious nuttery that's directly linked to the news, and specifically Hurricane Dorian. Hurricane Dorian is a real thing. People have died. Untold damage is being done. President Trump sending confusing messages about it, saying it's going to hit Alabama, but it isn't. And there are people refusing to evacuate. This is real. It's as real gets. There are people who are losing their lives and at risk of losing their lives because of this storm. And in the midst of all this, in comes a grifter named Kat Kerr, who shows up and records herself commanding the hurricane with a stick in the name of Jesus in some kind of bizarre prayer. I don't even know what to call it. My question is, can we call this anything other than mental illness? Is there any other categorization for what I'm about to show you? Let's look at it together.
So right now, at this moment, we take authority over Dorian that has no right off the coast of this state or anywhere. And we hit that storm to the east right now. And I'm going to do it 3 times. We hit it to the east. We hit it to the east and command it. You go to the east, out away from land. We declare you will do no destruction in any way whatsoever. Won't tolerate it. So, Father, I thank you for this honor and privilege to be here on the little coast of Florida. And we say to that storm, your end is coming. We don't tolerate your presence. We won't tolerate you coming ashore anywhere or causing any harm, death, or destruction. We speak on behalf of those who've already been affected by it, God. We thank you for a rapid recovery and restoration for all of them right now. We decree and declare, you, Dorian, your days and hours are numbered, and we bash you.
She tells the storm that its end is coming. Well, yeah, I mean, storms end eventually. That's not much, that's not very prosaic, I must say. Do we just need to call this what it is? Mental illness. How else would we describe something like this? This is like a crazy person yelling at a cloud. I mean, this is no different. And if you look more into, I've never heard of this person before, but so many people emailed me that I said, I've got to figure out more about her. She has a website called The Revelation Zone. It has a whole bunch of stuff on it, including videos, frequently asked questions about eternity. Some of the stuff seems straight up satirical, but I don't think it is. Like, I wonder, is it possible this is all a joke because no other explanation would suffice? Check out some of the questions she answers from kids on her website. 14-year-old Emily from Jacksonville, Florida wrote, "Are there oceans with sharks and jellyfish in heaven?" And Kat Kerr wrote, "Yes, there is a crystal sea which comes from the river of life that flows out of God's throne." Oh yeah, of course. Also, the Bible states that there are fish of all kinds in the water, and the crystal sea is big enough to hold huge sailing ships. Another question from Trey, who is age 6 from Richmond, Virginia. Question, is letting Trey write to this woman a form of child abuse? I think that's something we should consider. 6-year-old Trey asks, is there an art easel and a T-Rex in heaven? Kat Kerr says yes to both questions. Since I saw art galleries there, I don't know if she means she was in heaven at one point, I am certain they would have easels to paint on. Also, there are representations of all animal life that God originally created, so dinosaurs, including the T-Rex, can be seen in the park area of heaven. Ah, the park area, of course. They are so tame that you can actually ride on them. That's right. There are tamed T-Rexes living in the park area of heaven next to the easels which must exist because Kat Kerr knows that there are art galleries in heaven, and if there are art galleries, there must be easels with which the art is made. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. Children should not be exposed to this woman. We've previously discussed on the program it's we haven't done this for a while, and I'm now getting myself fired up and talking about it. We've previously discussed on the program, is it a form of child abuse to place the irrational fear of going to hell in the minds of children from a young age? It is other forms of causing irrational fear or persistent fear in children can be considered child abuse. Is the fear of hell, rather, considered child abuse in some way, shape, or form? That's something we've discussed. This is crazy to let children interact with this woman, and this might not come as a huge shock to you. This woman is a big Trumpist. I was looking through her Twitter account yesterday. She has tweets about Trump 2020 events and just how great the National Day of Prayer is and this type of thing. Is that surprising to you? Did anybody think from the video of her trying to hit the hurricane with a stick in the name of Jesus that she might have been a Bernie supporter? I don't know that many people were confused about that, but in case you were, this is a major Trump supporter. Really wacky stuff. And I guess what she didn't work because the storm still hit. But the way that these folks work, if you were to confront her, she would say, well, no, I did move the hurricane. My prayer with the stick made it so that even more people weren't killed by Hurricane Dorian, which is, of course, exactly the type of unfalsifiable belief that doesn't really pass muster if you apply even an iota of critical thinking. This is not a joke. This stuff ruins people's lives. It completely takes over their worldview. In a sort of unrelated but related story of religious nuttery, we really recently found out that one of the main pushers or advocates of so-called conversion therapy, where people can get therapy to stop being gay, is a gay man. And I know it didn't come as a shock to me. I'm guessing it doesn't come as a shock to many people in our audience. But this stuff is not just, oh, these are just their beliefs and everyone's entitled to their beliefs and blah, blah, blah. Okay, they're entitled to their beliefs, but they're using those beliefs in a weaponized form to ruin the lives of gay and lesbian people, to ruin the lives of children with irrational fears and beliefs that are not based in reality. This actually has a real world impact. And it also has the impact, by the way, if you're really religious and you think something like this works, you might choose not to evacuate for the hurricane because you think Kat Kerr is going to use her stick and get the hurricane out of the way, then you get killed by the hurricane. This stuff has a real world impact, and we cannot write it off as just benign spirituality because it's simply not that.